you now. What are the implications for us? If our understanding of the Quran is correct, the Dajjal is a Dajjal, the implication for us, the dangerous implication for us, is that he has a mission in addition to ruling the world from Jerusalem and declaring, I am the Messiah. He has a mission to try to transform all of us into Jasads like himself, so that we will not ourselves choose, but others will choose for us. And this is most applicable with your children. Your children are going to lose the capacity to choose. And the television will make the choice for them. And the smartphone will make the choice for them. And the schools will make the choice for them. And they will lack the capacity to choose. They have been robbed of their free will. And they become Jasads. That is the first implication. The second one is even more amazing. That he's going to rob us of our capacity to think. So we will all become like the American people. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to say it, because there are many fine American people. Very fine American people. But most Americans have lost the capacity to think. And those in America who have the capacity to think, they are pained, they're weeping. What's wrong with our people? That they become like cattle, they become like sheep. That is the danger. How will he cause your children to lose the capacity to think? I'm not talking about the adults. The children are his target. Because once he takes over your children, tomorrow belongs to him. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said about the end time, the time will move faster and faster. That the whole year will pass, and it will appear to have been just a month. A whole month will pass like a week. A whole week will pass like a day. A whole day will pass like an hour. A whole hour will pass like the amount of time it takes to kindle a fire. Is it now? Is it taking place now? Do we have the feeling as though we're living in a world in which things are moving very, very fast? Are we living on the fast lane? If we are, then what's the price we pay? The price of our children watching television, and the images are moving swiftly and being replaced swiftly all the time. Take a look at television and you see the images move very swiftly. So the child's mind cannot concentrate before something else comes. Similarly with the smartphone, which is not really too smart. What is happening today, because of this fast-moving world, is that they become addicted to the fast world. And if you ever take them out to the countryside and ask them to try to talk to the trees or listen to the wind blowing through the leaves, or look at the birds, or walk through the forest, they say, we cannot live here for even one day. This place is too slow. Take us back to the city. They have become addicted to the fast lane. It's like itikaf in Ramadan. And when they go to itikaf, they take their smartphones with them. Because they cannot tolerate itikaf. Impossible! How can I live for a whole day in this slow moving world? I'll die! Yeah. You've lost the capacity to fall in love. Yes. I'm talking about falling in love with the Book of Allah. To fall in love with the Book of Allah, they can't do that. Because if you want to fall in love with the Book of Allah, you've got to first learn to step into the water, which is to recite the Quran from cover to cover once a month. That's the beginning. And then you've got to learn to swim, which means when you're reciting the Quran, you understand what you're reciting. And then you've got to learn to dive, because the pearls are not on the surface. The pearls are down there. Lu'lu'u wal marjan. Lu'lu'u wal marjan. The pearls are down there. You've got to dive down. And it's when you're diving down into the Quran, now you can enjoy the Quran. And when you reach that stage, you don't care for the world. Time will pass, it doesn't matter to you. A whole day will pass for you. And you've been enjoying the day. But not him. He cannot tolerate sitting in a masjid for a whole day without his smartphone. Because he's addicted. The first price you pay is that you lose the capacity to remember the past. The past fades away. It's not important. All you have to do is take the children who are addicted to the smartphone and teach them, for example, the names of the first few surahs of the Quran. And then 5 or 10 minutes later ask them, do you remember? They can't remember. The memory is gone. But 100 years ago, you show them a whole page, they'll memorize the whole page, just like that. Just like that. Not only do you lose the capacity to remember the past, but you also lose the capacity to anticipate the future. So you become prisoners of the here and the now. You become a jasad. I'm sorry to end the talk on this frightful note. This is the implication of the Dajjal being a jasad. The first is, of course, he wants to rule the world from Jerusalem, and Allah programs him to do it. And the second, of course, is he wants to transform us into jasads. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may protect us from the Dajjal. There's a dua you must memorize. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min azabil qabr wa min azabil nar. Wa a'udhu bika min fitnatil mahya wal mamat wa min fitnatil masihid dajjal. If you don't know the dua, ask someone to teach you. Memorize it. In every salat that you perform, every prayer, make this dua. I must have recited this dua thousands of times already. Number 2. For protection from Dajjal, you recite Surah Al-Kahf on every day of Jummah. Every day of Jummah, not every Friday. Because Friday is the day for the worship of a Scandinavian goddess named Frag. So we use the term in the Quran, Yawmul Jummah. Every day of Jummah you must recite Surah Al-Kahf. Number 3. The first 10 ayat, the 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf, to be recited in times of danger for protection from the Dajjal. And finally, that you must not betray the Quran. Only the Quran can protect you. And you must not read the Quran and not understand what you're reciting. You must learn enough Arabic to be able to understand what you're reciting in the Quran. And eventually, we pray, one day you'll fall in love with the Quran, inshallah.